You sold me a house last year. How have I heard from you and in what manner? Oh, you know, Carl, I send a text once in a while. I do this once in a while, and I do this. And I look at the agent, and I'm very blunt. I say, so you really don't have a system of how you follow up with your past clients? No, I guess, I don't really have a system, but I do it. So I tell the agent, I say, what if you're able to systemize how you follow up with your past clients? How much more business do you think that's going to generate you? Oh, no, I guess it would work. So really what we want to do today is we want to really focus on how to systemize your referral business. I always look as any type of business, you want to systemize it as if you're able to sell it or franchise it. Because when you get really busy and you start juggling more, what happens is you get busy with your deals and you're like, oh, I didn't reach out to my past clients. I didn't lead generate, right? It's the old realtor predicament. Put all their time and effort, 5, 6, 7 deals, get them closed, and then they say, oh, I'm slow, I have nothing. Right, because you spent all your time focusing on getting those 6 or 7 deals closed that you weren't lead generating. Where the really good realtors who are doing a ton of business are consistent on the lead generation. Right? That's what eliminates the peaks and valleys. So what we're going to talk about today is a little bit of business planning for 2018, how to project out your business, and we're also going to talk about really systemizing and building a referral baseline. And I'm going to tell you it works. The reason I know it works was I look a little tired right now because I was out too late at a client appreciation party last night. Hey, good morning. So this is really, really important to be able to systemize this, and I'm going to show you guys some easy techniques on how to reach out to past clients that you might not have talked to in years and feel awkward to call about, and also about how to add value to your past clients. This is the biggest truth. You could be the nicest person in the world and never build a referral business. You could be the nicest person, but you could be a terrible realtor. You could be the nicest person, you could be a terrible loan officer. People aren't going to refer you. I have a contractor, I tell this all the time, he is the nicest guy. He does good work. I don't refer him out. He's a little bit of a headache pricing wise and everything else. He's my headache. But I'm not going to give that headache to somebody else. So he doesn't get referrals from me because he's my headache, right? So you have to really, really be good and likable. You can be really good. You could be the best realtor. You could have your I's dotted, your T's crossed, and everything else, and you could never build a referral business. There's agents in the market, in every market, that other agents go, I don't know how that agent does that much business. I'm a better realtor than that person. Right? I hear it all the time. But that person probably has better systems staying in front of their past clients. I'm going to give you an example. I was at a bank one time. I was cashing a check. It had with the Remax logo on it. Girl at the bank's like, I bought a house 6 months ago. She goes, it was a great experience, blah, blah, blah. I was a Remax agent. I'm like, oh, great, fantastic. What's the name of the agent? She stared at me blank. You said she was really good? I go, all right, let me ask you a question. Would you recommend that agent to other people? Oh, yeah. I'm like, if you remembered their name. Yeah. Right? Really good realtor. Really bad staying in front of the past client to get the referrals. Right? And when I tell that story, people always laugh. But it's true. That realtor did a great job, but has done a terrible job staying in front of that person to get referrals. Lastly, you could spend $20 a month in this real estate business and go bankrupt. There are so many companies making a fortune off of selling to realtors. Right? I was just reading an article about an online lead generation platform called Real Geeks, who just sold for millions. I forget the number, but it was big. selling to realtors. I get a phone call from a 206 area code on a weekly basis because it's Zillow trying to sell me zip codes, right? There's all of these people trying to sell to realtors and distract them from the core of their business, which is referrals and repeat businesses. So agents who can take out all those other distractions and really focus on the referral business are also not doing more business, they're making more money and keeping more in their pocket. I'm gonna use an example. I was at this client appreciation party last night. This is an agent that joined my company about 16 months ago. We sat down, he did 50 deals. I said, we're gonna go through every deal one by one and see what your lead source was. He's like, all right, sounds good. We go through every single deal. 33% of his deals were from referrals, past clients, sphere of influence, right? As we're sitting there, we're talking about his other, one third of his deals were from expireds, cold calling expireds. Another third of his deals was coming from Zillow. I was like, all right, so you're doing Zillow well. You have the good profile, good reviews. You obviously are doing well with expireds. I said, you're spending a ton of money on programs, and we went through everything he spends money on. Boomtown. I said, you don't want to work with buyers, and you're spending money on Boomtown, which is a program to generate buyer leads. I was like, that is the dumbest thing I ever heard. He's like, well, my coach told me to get it. I said, well, tell your coach you're getting rid of it, because you don't need to waste $1,600 a month on leads that you don't want, right? And we're able to really dial down. So I said to him, I said, why don't you take some of that money you're spending in these other areas that aren't creating you any really business and put that into a sector that you've been ignoring that you're generating a third of your business from, right? Third of business on 50 deals is about 15 deals, right? It's like, oh, I don't know how to get back in touch. So we went through, he set it up doing a client appreciation party. We're gonna go more in depth. He said this year, he's had a 25 times return on the money he spent on his referral business. And he had 80 people at his client appreciation party last night. All right? His returns have been huge. He's knocking on the door of $20 million in volume this year, and a lot of it's from his past clients and referrals that he's been ignoring, and he's not spending a fortune to generate those leads. What's your business? Are you on the raging kayak of up and down, up and down? I'm busy, I'm not busy, I'm crazy busy, crazy slow. I'm gonna be a $20 million producer. I'm gonna go get another job. Okay. And we laugh, we talk. I have an agent, 2 years in the business, the first, and just doing Circle of Excellence, bronze, knocking on silver. I mean, she's doing a fantastic job working all by referral. The first winter, she was gonna go work at Pier Imports. No, she did go work at Pier Imports, but then she quit after a month, right? Because it was slow during the winter, she was getting nervous. Then the second year, she was gonna get a job at the township doing something. I'm like, you're on the way, you just need to get more consistent in your actions. So I met with her yesterday, we're going over the business, going over her 2018, and she looks up and she goes, and I'm not looking at getting other jobs right now. I was like, because you're getting off the raging kayak and you're going into the float trip, right? The float trip is when you have a consistent pipeline, consistent business, and you're enjoying it, right? And I'll show you the difference. Who here has ever met an internet lead at a house? You get to the house, you're ready to go show it to them, and they go, nah, we don't like the house, we'll see you later, bye, and drive off. You're like, well, that was a real waste. Who here has ever worked with the referral who says, we want to work with you because Sally told us you're the best. When is good for you? Oh, I can show you the house on Saturday. Perfect. Then that internet lead who says, if you're not going to show me the house right now, I'm going to call the person who's below you on the list. I personally would rather be able to control the situation and work with the people I like than trying to cater to people who are trying to boss you around and look at us as a commodity. So sometimes you just got to think, which business are you in and which business do you want? And if you're not at the point you want, what changes can you make to get there? Let's do a little bit of business planning here. How much GCI, gross commission, do you want to make next year? Do you want to do 100,000? Do you want to do 200,000? Do you want to do 300,000? Do you want to do $1 million? Right? What's your average commission rate? Is it 3%, 2.5%? Right? If you take your gross commission and divide it by 0.03, 0.025, you're going to get what your sales volume is. Then once you get your sales volume, what's your average price? Divide those, and then you're going to get how many transactions you need. Now what I like to do is, after you know how many transactions you need to hit your goal, I like to divide that by 12. How many deals do you have to do a month to get to your goal? It's not hard. And I always say with a caveat, yes, here in the Northeast, our market goes, winter usually slows down, spring it picks up, usually do more deals in the spring than you're going to do in the winter. But if you know I need to do 2 deals a month to get to my goal, then every month you can sit down and say, how many deals did I write? How many closings did I have? And that's when you really start looking at your business as a business. I want everyone just to take a minute, right? Think about the last year. If you have pen and paper, write down. Think about the last 6 months. Write down the transactions you did. I don't know how many people actually really go back and look at the business they did. And take a minute and think, where did I get that business from? And the reason I challenge people to do that is because once you do that, you're probably going to realize that most of your business really was referral. You know, I always challenge people at the end of the year or the beginning of a year, look back at last year. Really analyze your business. The more you understand your business, the more you can work on it and you can develop it. And if you're newer to the business, you're lucky. Because you could take these principles and apply it to your business today. And as you grow. So it's really important to know how many transactions did you do, where the leads come from. And when I do this with people, they're always shocked by how much there was. We have an agent in my East Brunswick office, $35 million in volume this year. I sat down, we went over all of our deals. Took like an hour. And she just looked at me and she goes, oh my God, all my business is referral, isn't it? I said, yeah, you don't even drive outside our town of East Brunswick and all your business is referral. I mean, it's amazing. Now we're working on doing some things because she's like, I still want to grow in my business. What can we do? I said, we need to reach out to some of your past clients and referrals. You need to hold some type of event. Whether it's in the fall, you give out pumpkins, something like that, just to get back in front of people. But you're doing this much business on referrals, let's double down on it. And like I said, I have an agent 2 years in the business, mostly working off of referral from a sphere of influence and everything else. And the key is consistency, which we'll go into, right? So now you know how many deals you need if you go through your adjusted gross income, what you want to make commission-wise. So what does that mean? So you take your transactions, and then you want to think about how many people you have in your network. And what I mean by network is I'll ask people, how many people are on your list of your referrals, your sphere? People will say, I have 1,000 people. I'm like, no, you don't. I have 1,000 people on an email list. I'm like, that's not your referral base. Your referral base are people who know you, like you, and want to do business with you. Your referral base is not somebody who filled out a Zillow contact form and you dumped their email address into a monthly campaign and you email them out to turn back their clocks even though they have an iPhone. Right? How many contacts do you really have? How many people really like you, refer you, want to do business with you? Because those are the people you want to focus on staying in front of and who are going to refer you out. Right? Olivier has done a great job working by referrals. Right? He is a known agent in areas where people call and they just want to do business with him. Because he's built it to that point and has done a good job staying in front of people. So, let's just say people in your network. Say you have 80 people in your network that you know refer you, like you, want to do business with you. Right? And this could be contractors, painters, people just in your network who say, oh, you're thinking about buying or selling? You have to call Olivier. Right? So say you have 80 people in that. Statistics show they'll know throughout the year about 5 people who are looking to buy or sell. Right? So you have 80 people, 5 people looking. That's potential references. I don't have a calculator on me. What's that? 4,000 potential. Right? Say you're able to capitalize on 5% of that. It's 40,000 times 5%. 40?
No, 4,000 times 5%.
Right, what's that, 20? 200? All right. So say that's a potential of 200 transactions out there. Right? And 80 people is a large network. So I use this as an example because people say I have thousands of people in my network. Like, no, I'm sorry, you don't. That's just me being brutally honest. So say it's 40 people. It's a possible 100 transactions. All right? Do the number of people in your network get you to where you want to be in total sales? That's what you have to look at. And if it is, then you know you really have to focus on this. If it's not, you have to focus on this, and you have to talk about other lead generation strategies to be able to get you to that number. And what's good is this, is people when they refer you, if you sell somebody a house, they can refer you a listing. The public's out there not thinking, oh, Olivier only does sellers. No, they're going to say, oh, you're thinking about buying a house? I know a great realtor. Let me give you his number. Right? Everyone likes having a guy. I mean, listen, my last name's Sanfilippo. I'm Italian. Everyone I grew up with had a guy. Right? People like referring out people who do a good job. People don't like referring out people if they think it's going to be questionable. Who here has been in that situation? Like, oh, do you know somebody? You're like, I do. And you have that internal debate. Like, do I want to recommend them? They can make me look really bad. Or you recommend them, and then the person you recommend to goes, oh, they're doing like a shoddy job, or whatever it might be, and you're like, oh, last time I refer this person out. This can be applied to any business, not just real estate. But this is most realtors' bread and butter, and you have to pay more attention to it. I tell agents all the time. Let me ask you guys, what do you guys think is one of the biggest trends impacting real estate right now? Space?
Families.
Right now it's impacting agents more than anything else in the business. The number of agents. You know what's happening? Everyone's watching HGTV. Everyone's watching realtors selling $1 million houses, doing high kicks. And people are sitting on their couch thinking, wow, if I go get my real estate license, which is just 2 weeks long, I pass the test, I show people 3 houses, they pick one, and I'm rich. This is great. I'm going to get into real estate. Right? I've seen it all the time. Interview new agents. Oh, this is great, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to do this. I'm like, oh, this person does not know what they're about to get into. Right? They don't see the buyer who you show 45 houses to, and then they go buy it through the listing agent, and you figured it out, they bought it through the listing agent because they stopped returning your phone calls. They don't see the deal that 2 days before closing, water pipes break, the house floods, and the deal's dead. When you think you're getting paid in 2 days, right? Market is getting better, and what happens when the market gets better is more agents get into the market. And then what happens? The market pulls back, it gets a lot more competitive, and then the best of the best are able to stick it out. What do we see on the rise again more than anything? Discount brokerages, right? Olivier's out of the room, so I'm going to take this opportunity. I'm ready for Foxtons to come back. Anyone doesn't know, Olivier used to work with Foxtons. Foxtons was, they would hire kids out of college. They actually told me that I actually interviewed for Foxtons, and they told me I wasn't a right fit. So I knew I was going to be pretty good in this business. But what happens is they hired a lot of people out of college, gave them cars, did discounts. They had a great business model, but when the market turned and things got tough, the business model didn't work. But you see Redfin making a big push. People were, and I had someone ask me the other day, what do you think of Redfin? Do you think they're going to take over the market? I said, where's Redfin based out of? Seattle. I was like, what's their market share in Seattle? I don't know, 6th. Are they going to dent us a little bit? Yes. Is it going to take over the market? I would like to see them take over the market in their home base first before I start worrying about them taking the market share elsewhere. So that's my opinion on it. And listen, good market, bad market, people are always buying and selling. It's who's going to be there. And that's when you need to have your referral base even stronger in the bad market. But this, to me, is one of the biggest threats I see in the real estate business over the next couple of years, is the number of agents getting back into the business. You see a lot of agents who got out during the low who are saying, now I want to get back in. This is what I was talking about before. We're talking now about how to generate some referrals. Like I said, who here in this room knows exactly how they reach out to a client after they sell them a house? There's very few times I do this training where someone raises their hand and say, well, Carl, I do this, and then I do this, then I do this, then I do this, then I do this, then I do this. And then I say, here's the clicker. There's very few people who have a systemized referral base. And once you set it up, it saves you so much time later down the road. And it's the best. I love when I see agents really systemize it and get it down, because they just see the business get generated. And if you're newer in the business, you start now and have the good basics, and it will help you in the long run. So, like I said, you want to run it as if it was a business, as if you could franchise it. Marketing is all about positioning, right? Right now, we're going to talk about this on a macro level. Right now, there's a race between the two large companies to be the number one in consumers' minds. Anyone know who those two companies are? Amazon's one of them, and Walmart. They are on a race to be the number one go-to commerce in the country. Walmart just came out with the 2-day shipping, just like Amazon Prime, right? They're on a race to be the number one on people's mind. You have to stay in front and be the number one on top of mind as a realtor with your referral client base. You don't have enough resources to be number one with everybody, right? Most realtors don't have these huge Amazon and Walmart budgets to market to everybody. So you better be number one in front of the people who are going to refer you. And if you can't be number one in a category, you got to create a category. All right? If your position is number one in the mind of another, you have an advocate. And you want people to be advocates. You want people to say, hey, I'm thinking of buying or selling. Hey, you have to call Sue. She's fantastic. Okay. So to understand the relationship model, there's 3 issues. Again, get your database smaller. When people tell me their database is 2,000, 3,000 people, I'm not impressed. I'm like, I'm like, let's sit down and talk. What's up, Jasmine?
So smaller database. So we basically should look at our database and start maybe organizing it?
You should scrub it. I'm gonna give you ways to help scrub it, but you should scrub it. You want people in your database for your referrals who, when they think about it, they buy and sell, they want to talk, you got to see Jasmine. Like, these are your people, like your go-to, right? This is what you want. You want the people just to sit at the top of the mountain and be like, oh, you need to buy or sell with Jasmine. You need to buy and sell with Sue. Like, that's what your real database is.
Okay.
It's not the person who you randomly showed one house to and they blew you off on another phone call, right? Because we've all had it. I've had it. That's not your database. You know? Smaller database, increase contacts with that database. And I know what people are thinking, like, oh, how do yeah, but I don't want to annoy them.
Well, they'll be happy to hear from us, wouldn't they?
Jasmine, I'm sure your clients would be.
I would think they'd be happy to hear.
But a lot of agents get worried, like, what am I going to reach out about?
Sure.
I don't want to annoy them. Do they really want to hear from me? What do I say? Do I just call and say, hey, I'm checking in? And we're going to go over all this. But there's ways to get around that. But you have to increase the contacts with a smaller database that really want to work with you. And high quality contacts. Calling saying, hey, I'm just checking in. How are you? Is not a good contact. You feel awkward making the call. They feel more awkward getting the call. I'm going to give you guys an example. I bought a car. Maybe 6, 7 years ago. Bought a car. The guy calls me. Let's call him Bob. Hey, Carl, it's Bob. I'm calling to see, do you like the car? I'm like, yeah, no, it's good, Bob. He's like, if you know anyone else thinking about buying, that needs a car, if you could refer me. I'm like, yeah, all right, Bob, goodbye. It was a race to get off the phone. I wanted to get off the phone before Bob, and Bob was on the other end trying to get off the phone with me to sit back in his chair and say, oh, I made my call. I'm doing good. 4 years later, I buy the car from this guy, Glenn. It's funny I say this. I actually bought my wife's car from him yesterday. I bought 3 cars through him. Glenn calls me up. Hey, Carl, it's Glenn. What's up, Glenn? I'm like, here we go. Glenn's going to be like, if you know anyone thinking about who needs to buy a car, let me know. He goes, Carl, hey, if you're in the neighborhood this Saturday, I hope you're enjoying the car. Stop by, free car wash on me. I'm like, thanks, Glenn. I appreciate it. He's like, you like the car? I'm like, no, I do. He's like, that's great. But yeah, just as appreciation, just, stop by, car wash, say hi. Tell Jen I said hi. I'm like, all right, great, thanks. Talk to you later. Bye. They both called with the same purpose. Bob called because he wanted to stay on Friday and see if he could get a referral from it. Glenn did the same thing. Bought 2 more cars from Glenn. Bob, I don't even remember his name. I'm making it up, Bob. But do you see how they called with the same purpose? Just a different message. And I'm sure Glenn had a lot easier time calling me to offer me something than Bob did to just check in. No relationship with Bob, I have a relationship with Glenn. And I've referred people to Glenn. The people with the 2,000, 3,000, 1,000 list who aren't real contacts, I call it database creep. You got these people in your database, you don't know them, you have no relationship with them, you're just in there so you can say you have 3,000 contacts. Because you want to build and rebuild the relationship. I was at this client appreciation party yesterday. I was at the one last year, the first one. Went from 30 people to 80 people. The best thing I saw at this party yesterday, and I was telling the agent before I walked in here, was that I saw his past clients now interacting and referring each other business and building relationships. That is doing it at the highest level. I saw one of his past clients go up to his other past clients. Jerry, hey, are you still selling the insurance on this? And Jerry's like, yeah, no, I'm still doing the insurance. Oh, great, I needed something. Now he's creating referrals within his referrals. Think about how powerful that is. That if you go to somebody's client appreciation party and you're getting referrals for your business from being at the party, what realtor are you going to refer? I mean, it's amazing when you do it at a high level. And you know what the best part about it is? It's fun. I had a great time at this class. I mean, I was going to stay for an hour and I stayed for 3. If I didn't have to run because my mom was watching our daughter, I would stay longer. It was a blast. That's doing it at a high level, and that's enjoying the business, and that's being on the floating ride, not the kayak ride. Okay? If you guys ever been to my training, you probably heard me. I like this story. This is about being number one in mind or creating a category. Who was the first person to sail across the Atlantic? Lindbergh. Right? Who's the second? No? You guys are just proving my point. Who's the third person to do it?
Was it a woman?
Amelia Earhart. It's funny you guys didn't know who the second person was. You know who the first person is. You didn't know who the second person is. And why did you know who the third person is?
First woman.
What did she do? She created a new category.
And was it a Black History for Black History or not?
No.
Oh, sorry.
No, I don't think so. But she created a new category. That's what I say about creating a new category. The second person who did it was Bert Hinkler. Bert Hinkler did it faster than both of them, with less gas. So in essence, he flew across the Atlantic better, but nobody knows who my man Bert Hinkler is because he wasn't the first one to do it and he wasn't the first woman to do it. Right? How many people can name somebody who is an Olympic track star? Right? You watch the Olympics, Usain Bolt, all these people. Who knows who Oscar Pistorius is? Who's he, Josh?
He's a runner who's got a disability.
He has and they call him the Blade Runner because he runs on the Olympics on the blades.
Mm-hmm.
So people know who he is because he created a new category. And if you know his story, people know who he is because he had gotten into a lot of trouble after it. It was a big news. But you see what I mean about just being first in category, making yourself stand out. It's not always being the best. It's about being remembered.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you shouldn't be the best realtor you can be, because obviously you have to be good. But you got to stand in line. You got to stand out. You got to, if you don't have the category, you got to create the category. This is the circle of referrals. Outside the circle is the general public. Don't know you, don't like you, haven't done business with you, value relationship and one created by advertising volume. This is the 950 email addresses you have out of the 1,000 email addresses, right? The people who registered on your website, whatever else you had real no general relationship with, might have just saw your marketing. Acquaintances, people you know. How you doing? Right? They might think of you. Probably not. Maybe give you a low relationship, right? Your network. Know you, like you, may refer you, may not refer you. Advocates. Know you, like you, always use you, always refer you, value the high relationship. And it's funny, these come from everywhere. You know, as a real estate broker, I get calls from agents who say, you know, I want to speak to you about your office. I'm like, oh, that's great. We've never really had a chance to meet. He goes, no, I called this agent and they said I have to call you before I make any type of move. I'm like, wow, it's fantastic, because that agent's not even an agent in my office. But I guess along the line, I've showed value that this agent referred me, even though they're not in my office. Right? That's the highest level of compliments that you can get. That's like the highest level of compliment. Is the agent yesterday, I was at his client appreciation party. He just got a client where the seller's sister was an agent, but they wanted to go with him because the sister is an agent that does maybe one deal a year, and they wanted something on a higher level. I said to him, that's the highest compliment you can get. And probably a pretty smart seller, right? So here are some ways to organize your database. A CRM. I use a CRM called Follow Up Boss. I think for a solo agent, it might be $80. I'm going to be honest with you, I had Follow Up Boss for 3 years, paid for it, and did nothing. Then one weekend, I'm like, all right, this is stupid. I got to figure out something. So I sat down and I figured it out. And it took me a couple hours to really figure it out. And I'm like, this thing is awesome. I said, I can't believe I put this off for 3 years. I paid for it and I never used it. Game changer, right? There's ways to do this where you can reach out and systemize while you sleep, right? That's the important part, you know? I enjoy it when I'm walking through the mall and spending time with my wife and my daughter, and I see people registering for events, emails going out, all this stuff happening while I'm sitting down enjoying quality time with my family. It takes a little bit of time in the beginning to set it up, but once you set it up, it saves you hours, right? And systemizing your business is a process. And I always say, I was saying this to Josh before, when you have a process, don't get attached to the results, get attached to your process. Because if you get attached to your process and you follow your process, the results will come. And I'm going to use this as an example. I hear agents do this all the time. Like, I mailed to this farm once, and nobody called me. It does not work. I'm like, no, you got attached to the result of a one-time action. You didn't get attached to a process of doing it for a year straight and then analyzing the results. So even looking at your referrals. I had an agent do this to me once. You know, Carl, we're sitting right across the table from each other. She's like, you know, I don't know. I don't think your referral training was really that good. I'm like, appreciate the criticism. Why do you say that? You know, I sent out a mailing once to my past clients and nobody contacted me. So I don't think your system works. I said, wow, you might be right. I'm going to do this. I'm going to pay for your referrals for the next 4 months. When you get a lead from me and it closes, you're going to pay me back twice as much as I paid into it. 2 deals out of it. Agent comes in, sits down. All right, I might have been wrong. Not a problem. I don't mind. I believe it. I put my money where my mouth is. You're going to pay me back and then some. But it works, right? So get attached to the process. Don't get attached to the immediate results. You know, some people are like, oh, I don't want to do a CRM. I mean, most people here have a Gmail account these days. Just save them in Google Contacts. You can create a group that says, you can have them as past clients, database, and sphere, and save them in the group. And then this way, if you want to send out some email or some information to them, all you got to type in is referrals, and it's all there. Saves on your phone. It doesn't get any easier. So I'm not saying you have to do a CRM. And then when you really get it down is you create the Google Contact, you save them in the Google Contact, and then it automatically creates it in your CRM, and then an action plan happens. Okay. Google Calendar is great too, right?
These are what you use?
I use all this, yes. Okay. I am religious on my Google Contacts. I am very big in, like, I put information one place and it goes everywhere.
And that's just by using Follow Up Boss?
You Follow Up Boss. There's another program that I like. It's called Zapier. What Zapier does, it allows other programs to talk to other programs.
Nice.
And it's not that. I am not a tech genius. Trust me when I say I'm not a tech genius. But what happens is I'll have it So I have a thing when an agent joins my office, so I've just created, you save them in Google Contacts under a certain group, puts them into the CRM, and then creates 9 days worth of emails.
It creates what?
9 days worth of emails. And all I have to do is set them in my group once and just forget about it. And then the machine takes over.
Your CRM just sends them?
Yes.
Oh, it's
You could do all this with CRM, but you can even do this with referral data, with your referral database. Right? You can set them in and you can set up for a monthly email, something of value, all planned out. Right? And my suggestion is just don't, and make it look personal. And with technology now, you can make it look personal. That they think they're just getting the email. And I always like to, at the end, just put your name and then put like sent from iPhone. People can see when it's a mass email. So I always like putting sent from iPhone because people are thinking you're actually sending it from your phone
okay.
when you're really not.
So you just set up the signature that way?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Was that my birthday card? That'd be good.
That was the CRM.
No comment. But right? I mean, that's a great way to stand out. Nobody likes getting canned emails. I spent all of 2017 unsubscribing from everything. Right? I don't like wasteful emails. Right? I do REO business though. Right? In the REO businesses, I get tons of emails that need to go to my team. We're getting a little bit off subject. I hope you guys don't mind. But I don't want to sit there. I realize, why am I sitting here forwarding all these emails all day? And then what if I miss one that I wanted to forward and then they missed it? And then I'm like, why'd you miss this? They're like, well, we never got the email. I'm like, well, that's not your fault, that's my fault. So there's ways to program like Zapier where you can set up when certain emails come in, you can forward them out to other people. I mean, there's really all this stuff you can do. And this stuff's not hard. Trust me, if I could figure it out, anybody could figure it out. Like, I am not like this techie programmer. So there's all these different programs that can really help you systemize the business. What it is most agents don't really want to sit down and take that time to really figure it out and trial and error. And I've made a lot of errors. Or the email went out and I realized I didn't update the address. Sorry, April. But this stuff happens. Right? And it's fixable. I mean, paper. I don't care if people have an old school Rolodex. It's better than nothing. Right?
What do you mean by that?
So what happens is, have your contacts. I don't care if you have a notebook that's alphabetical, A's and B's with the contact information, and then you follow up with them using the paper and you make notes on paper.
Oh, okay.
So I don't want people to come out of this being like, oh man, Carl talked about all this technology stuff, like this is, I can't do this. No, you can. Do it with paper. You know, as long as the system works for you, having your system is better than having no system. So that's why I said paper, Excel, whatever works for you. All right, how do I get started? This is a question I get for ages. Man, I've been in the business since 2010. I haven't talked to them since I sold a house in 2010. I hear that a lot. Like, how do I get back in them? I say, have an event. Doesn't have to be, it could be a client appreciation party. It could be in a charity event. At my office in East Brunswick, we have usually a charity event going on. Right now we have a coat drive. Before the coat drive for Halloween, we had a Halloween costume drive for children who are less fortunate. I give it to the agents. This is what we're doing. This is a great thing to reach out to your past clients about. Maybe 5% of them actually take advantage of it. But we'll set it up and we'll do it for you. All you have to do is leverage what I'm doing to your clients. Again, does everyone do it? No. But you know what? No one's going to say, oh yeah, no, I worked at Carl's office and he didn't help the agents try to create any business. Everything I do is to try to help the agents create business. Right? I'm not reaching out to my past clients, but because I'm not really in the real estate lead generation, I'm more of the coaching developing part of it now. But I do this stuff for the agents to leverage. It's a great way to call a past client. right? People want to say, Olivier reaches out to a past client you haven't talked to in 6 years. Hey, I'm just checking in. How's everything? Well, Olivier, considering the last time we talked, this was 2 presidents ago. Everything's going well. How are you? All right, I'll just talk to you later. Goodbye. Click. Much different than calling up and saying, hey, listen, I know we haven't talked in a while, but I really wanted to reach out. We're pretty passionate here about what we can do and give back. We're doing a coat drive. If you're in the area, if you have any old coats, we're a drop-off center. It's going to charity. I'd love to see you. Hey, we're doing a program with Habitat for Humanity. We're rebuilding houses in areas that need it. Love for you to be able to, stop by. Anything you could do to help. We're really passionate about this. We're passionate about giving back. This is going to sound fun. Who watches Shark Tank? Mostly, all right? How many businesses are giving back now? You buy socks. It creates socks for 7 people somewhere else, right? The lace and grace thing with the boots. My wife the only reason I know, remember it. Right? Every time we buy that, a donation goes to somewhere, right? I don't want to say charities in, but charity's in. Millennials are very big about giving back. So if you reach out and you have a charity event, it's great. It really helps. The last training I talked about this, so I'll talk about somebody else. I was on a top agent panel with a Coldwell Banker agent in Hillsborough, and she said one of her biggest lead generation sources, and she's very passionate about it, she does a fundraiser for breast cancer during Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And she reaches out to all of her past clients. She reaches out to all the people in the community, business owners, and it's a huge lead generation tool. And they love doing it. She loves doing it. I know another broker in Somerset who has a similar hairstyle to me, who does a huge Children's Miracle Network charity event every November. Does the whole 9. And it's funny because he owns another Remark. I always try to sponsor it because I know what he's doing is the hard part. Me writing a check is an easy part. So I try to help sponsor it. He takes 2 months of his life and dedicates it to this. And he does a great casino night, the whole 9. It's a huge lead generation tool for him. And he gets to give back and enjoy it. That is when you're floating and you're not on the kayak. So a great way to reach out to these past clients that you haven't spoken about is whether you do a happy hour, whether you do some type of charity event, just call with a purpose. Don't be Bob the car sales guy. Call and see if you can add them to a referral list, right? If you know the guy's a contractor. If you could build referrals and we send referrals back and forth, people want to do business with people they like.
Carl,
Yes.
sorry to interrupt, but that's a very common issue with agents. I haven't talked to them since 2010 when I sold them the home. An easy way is since we're all actively in the business, selling homes in probably the same areas. If you're sitting in an open house, just call them and invite them.
Yeah.
I haven't seen you in a while. I'll be in your neighborhood Sunday at an open house. Pop in and check. Let's catch up. It's such a warm. I've used that.
Yeah. And I don't know if this is going to be on my slide, so I might be jumping ahead. But another great thing too is, and we'll start with this, who here sold a house and then you see them listed with a different agent? You're like, why didn't they call me? Right? Probably because they haven't heard from you and they forgot about you. They're the bank teller. So if you see, a great way to reach out is if you see something, or how many times, and then you do this, you go on the MLS and you go, oh, I sold the house next door, this one just sold. Oh, they got a good price. What a great way to call your old client. Hey, Bob, do you know the house next door to you sold for $375 and you paid $275 3 years ago? How great is that? Bob's like, yeah, no, it's great, blah, blah, blah. What a way to get back in front. And I always say this too, I just wanted you to know the sale price, because in case you're thinking of refinancing, this is a great comp. They're like, oh, no, I really appreciate that. Instead of going, hey, oh, no, but I wasn't thinking of refinancing. I'm actually thinking about maybe selling. Oh, really? That's fantastic. Right now, because now you're calling, it doesn't even look like you're trying to call about real estate. Hey, I'm just thinking of you in case you want to refinance. I know rates are low. What a great comp right next door. got to think about little stuff like this. That's such an easy contact. That's so much easier of a phone call than just saying, hey, I'm checking in. And you guys see it anyway. It takes 2 seconds. Call, email, text, a video email. Listen, I do video email. It is awkward. It is weird. And I do it. And I have a voice for radio, not a face for TV. It's awkward. But a quick video email. There's free programs like Viviard, where you really from Google, you just click a button, you can do a video and email it out, and it's free. And it's great. Your open rate is going to be huge on a video. Hey, just want to let you know the house next door sold for $375. This is great in case you're thinking of refinancing. You can stay in front of them without even talking to them. So I get really passionate about this referral base because so many agents are ignoring it, and there's so many simple free tools you can use to just keep in front of your past clients and grow your business and love being in real estate. I love this business. And I love seeing other people love this business. And I love seeing people be able to take control of the business. All right, so the 6 and 6 program is designed to create a #1 position in the minds of others within a 6-week period. Right, so this is after maybe you got it, initiated the contact, then what? Right? Call, you invite them, went over this. You can mail out a book list. I do a monthly book club. That's right, I do a book club. I do Audible. I don't really read the book. I guess it's not really reading. I listen to the book. December 13th is going to be Essentialism. Great book if you've never read it. Last month we did Good to Great from Jim Collins, another great book I always talk about. But you can mail out a book recommendation to your client. So I'm different. It doesn't always have to be about real estate. People are going to remember you're in real estate. Mail something inspirational. Right? I sent out an inspirational email to people I know who weren't even my past clients, was a link to the video when we had Eric LeGrand speak last month to our office. It was the most motivating thing I've seen. He was the most inspirational person I've heard talk to. I've sent it out to some people that I've been talking to about Remax. Not even a real estate thing. Like, hey, this is great. If you don't know Eric's story, you have to watch this. Because I know this business could get you down. This is so inspirational. All right. This market, everybody's wants to be a real estate investor. Mail some information. Just in case you ever thought about investing in real estate. This is a great mortgage program called Delayed Financing to be able to get good deals on a house. Send it out. All right. You can mail a real estate related article. I mean, there are tons of them now. We'll go over some resources where you can get them. I mean, the information is so easy to get. You know, I'm still big on like handwritten mail too. Like actually sending it through the mail. I get so many emails I delete. You send me something in the mail. You send me something overnight. I mean, if I'm meeting with someone and I want to get them information, I overnight it because I'm always going to open up a UPS. But I'm going to open up my mail a lot more than I'm going to open up an email, especially if it's a handwritten to me. Put a real estate article in there. It's about making yourself stand out, being the #1. You can mail a household, health, financial tips, information about mortgage rates, everything like that. You know, right now a lot of people want to know what's going to happen about the new tax reform. Most people don't even understand it. Right? These are great little tips. How could the new tax reforms affect you?
Is that going to really affect the middle class?
That's a whole different, I don't know.
You don't know? Okay, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know. You know, it's going to affect different people in different states differently.
Depends. Oh, okay.
Right? I think. All right, so now you got this going. Now what? Your mail outs, your emails, they must be consistent and they must provide value. I can't stress that enough. You must become a student of the game and provide your clients with information that they would not otherwise have access to. Here's some great resources. I don't know if you guys subscribe at all to Inman News. Inman News is a fantastic resource of real estate information. I try to stay on top of it daily. Realty Times, Harvard Business Review, NAR puts out a lot of good information. You know, take a lot of this information, you can leverage it to your past clients. Does anyone have any questions so far? No? All right. I'm an overbeliever. I like teaching about 20 different ways to reach out and touch your past clients. Most people are only going to do about 6 to 12. So I like to teach 24, thinking half of it will get done. Yes.
I'm sorry, Tom, but what's the web?
The web pages.
What was? I'm sorry, I missed that.
And at the end, if you guys want, I'll give you my email address. Email me. I'll send you the slides.
Okay.
You'll have all this. So now we're going to talk about some mailouts. They have to be professional in appearance. They have to add value. 30 days, you got to get it out. Here are some good proven tips for mailouts. Book of the Month Club, inspirational stories, price ratio. Apparently I really like Book of the Month because it's in there again. Quote of the month, another inspirational story. Clients of the month for the most referrals. I've seen this happen. Like, this client referred me the most, and they got like a little trophy or like a belt, like one of the championship belts. Tip of the month, personal information. Recipe of the month. I really like book list, apparently. Book list, and just listed sold data about their neighborhood, right? I really love the just listed, average sale price, average days of market, places to list. If people are thinking about buying or selling, they want information about houses. That's what they want. All the other stuff is chatter. That's what they want. That's the value, right? If you're working, this is a little off the side. If you're working with a buyer, or you met somebody and you put them on just like a drip campaign about this or checking it, I mean, that stuff's not bad. Set them up on a criteria of what they're looking for in the MLS and send them that. In the MLS, you can see what properties they're viewing. What's better than someone you're working with? Hey, I saw you looked, 123 Main Street. Did you see that in the list? It looks like a great house. I mean, in the Middlesex MLS, they could put a heart next to it. You don't even have to say, I saw you hearted 123 Main Street, because that's like weird. Hey, did you see 123 Main Street on the emails I went out to you? It looks like a great house. You know what's even nicer? 456 Main Street down the street. You want to go see them? That's adding value. Not texting them like, hey, remember Sunday you got to turn back your clock, says I'm texting your iPhone and your clock's going to automatically turn back anyway. Sorry, that one always makes me laugh. Yeah. Right? I think even the cars turn their times themselves now. But anyway, so really just give them the value and add them what they want. And if you're working with a buyer and you really want to keep them intrigued, set them up on an automatic email campaign from your MLS. It is the easiest thing you can do. Birthday related, birthday card to both husband and wife if they're married. Buy generic cards, don't make them too masculine, feminine. Birthday cards for the children who are under 18. I mean, that's what, if you really want to hit it out of the park. You send a little happy birthday with maybe like a $5 gift card or $10 gift card to Toys R Us if it's a small child. I mean, you want to get on the good side. That's really knocking it out of the park. Holiday related, one touch. I'm going to say this, do not do this time of year for your holiday touch. You will be lost in the shuffle of it. I mean, how many Christmas cards do people get? How many, this is the year this is the time everybody does it. I like to do St. Patrick's Day. I dressed up this year as a leprechaun. It was the scariest thing I ever did, looking at myself dressed up as a leprechaun. I am a big leprechaun. My agents loved it. I took pictures. I sent it out to the people on my recruiting list. Why did I do St. Patrick's Day? Did I really want to dress up as a leprechaun? No, it was really weird. But it was different. Everybody dresses up on Halloween. Everybody sends out holiday stuff this time of year. Send out different times. Pick July 4th. I don't care what you pick, just do a different time than now. Thinking of you cards. This just shows a breakdown your network. If you do it, you guys can see the numbers. The last point I really want to stress with this is the thank you card for the referral. Most agents send the referral a thank you when the person they referred closes on their house. Wrong. Wrong, wrong, wrong. You send out the thank you referral to the person that referred you the minute they refer you. I don't care if you don't even work with the client, you thank them then. Because this is what happens. Olivier refers me a client. Thank you so much, Olivier. All right, I'm gonna get Olivier something nice when the property closes. 5 months later, the property closes. I'm now thanking Olivier? How many other people he might have referred me in those 5 months? I don't care if his referral never even calls me back. What I would do is I will mail out a card, handwritten, saying, Olivier, the fact that you thought highly enough of me to refer me means a lot. Thank you so much. P.S. Coffee on me. $5 Starbucks gift card. Well, for Olivier, I would do Dunkin' Donuts gift card because I would have a note that his wife prefers Dunkin' Donuts over Starbucks. And you see, knowing that little bit of difference, people laugh, but that means the world to people. There was an agent who I wanted to send out, he referred me and another agent, and I know he didn't like Starbucks, he likes Panera Bread, so it was a Panera Bread gift card, right? That's doing it and being really tuned in with your database. But don't wait till it closes. Do it right away. Get attached to the process, not the result. If you don't sell the client anything, who cares? You want to thank Olivier or the person who referred you for thinking of you. Not when it closes and it's like, I got paid, now it's time to give him something. It's not how this works. The process is you thank the person who's thinking of you. Because think about in that time frame, how long it could take to sell a house and how many other referrals you might have missed because you didn't take a second to acknowledge that person. Telephone calls, 4 touches, right? If you do all this, I mean, you got 24 to 30 touches with somebody. Once a quarter. Biggest thing is once a quarter could be a charity event. A great call to make to the clients you sold a house to the previous year is in January. Hey Bob, it's Carl, I'm just calling. I want to make sure you have a copy of your closing disclosure because you're going to need it for your taxes. Oh, I don't know where that is. We'll get it to you. Don't worry. Or you just automatically mail it to them. Most people don't know they need their closing disclosure when they go see their accountant. Think of how great of a resource that is. You're now calling, staying on top of their mind, and giving them something they need. Right? And I had a couple of agents do this last year, and they came back to me and they go, yeah, that was actually really good. I got a referral from it. Like, yeah, it's easy. It's just doing it, right? Another call could be, you could do that in the, in January, the beginning of the year. Another time in April, you can have an event. We did a shredding truck, right? April, you got a lot of paperwork, taxes, you got to shred paper. Hey, we have a shredding truck, why don't you come by, drop off the things. It costs a couple $100 to do. I had a lady call me, right? I did a shredding event for my office. None of the agents really showed up. I'm out there serving donuts, drink coffee. I had a lady call me 2 weeks ago. She goes, I got your mailer after my property expired and I want to list the house with you. Something about your mailer. Like, I haven't done a mailer in 7 years. I'm like, you got a mailer from me? She's like, yeah, I got a mailer from you. I was like, I said, not for nothing. I said, I haven't really mailed in 7 years. I'm really glad you got So I'm just trying to figure out how you found me. She goes, oh, you know what? No. Did you have that shredding event 3 years ago? I'm like, yeah, the one nobody showed up and I had to do it all myself. I'm like, yeah. Right? Gave her my business card, talked, $400,000 listing. Now, the day after the shredding event, if you asked me how were the results of the shredding event, I probably would have tell you, not really great, not what I wanted. But again, I'm attached to the process. 3 years later, there was a deal from it. Again, always have a reason for call. Somebody refers you, drop them something in the mail. Great way to call them during the hey, just want to let you know, you referred me, Johnny, about buying a house. We have an offer accepted on Johnny's house. I just want to call and say thank you again. I can't tell you how much your trust means to me. All right, great. Easy call. Any questions about that? Or reasons to call? The charity events, all this type of stuff? It's pretty simple. You want to really knock it out of the park? I was talking to you yesterday about how I saw people at this party intermingling, giving out referrals. You can start a closed Facebook group. Josh's Money Mortgage Group. Right? Get people in the group, start giving out referrals to each other. Has any of you ever done B&I or a LaTip, where you got to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and you all meet? And then they're forcing you to work with somebody who you don't even know if you really want to work with, but you're like, I'm in this group, I got to work with them. Make your own B&I with a closed Facebook group. These are all my people where referrals can go back and forth. Right? That's a great way to build it without having to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Right? And you can encourage people to post discount offers or services for their goods in that Facebook group. So it becomes a resource. Again, every time you see a referral, send a thank you card. Keep a spreadsheet, CRM, paper, I don't care. You could track how many referrals someone's given you. Before you know it, you could have somebody out there that's giving you a ton of referrals. I have a client, I sold their house, right? I sold a condo in East Brunswick for them. They bought a house. I sold the sister's house. I sold the sister's co-worker's house. They bought a house. Then they it was like a train, it was like a 12-person, 12-deal train from referrals. And I'm going to be frank with you, I didn't even do a great job following up with them. But I guess I was good enough where I just got the referrals before I got it really systemized. It can just mushroom cloud if you do it right. And you know what's funny? They called me and said, we want to buy a house. We're thinking about buying this house. We haven't seen it. You show them one house, they buy it. I didn't have to sell myself. I didn't have to if you ever worked Zillow leads, it's not like, well, I do this and this is my value proposition, blah, blah, blah. They're like, Carl, take us out to go look at a house. I'm like, all right. It's a lot easier than fighting for the business. I'm lazy. I don't want to have to oversell myself. If you can't see why I'm the person to work with, then fine. In October, have a client party. Or do one in the spring. Great way. In the spring, we're going to do we're going to go down to Monmouth Race Park and get one of those private areas and grill and barbecue, invite all the agents I talk with, come on down. Just have a fun day. It's fun hosting it. It's fun doing it. Right? We do a big Christmas party every year at the Hyatt in New Brunswick. It's like a mini wedding. It's a great time. This is the stuff that's really going to bring you to the next level. And the client appreciation party, if you haven't spoken to someone in 7 years, it's such an easy thing to call somebody to invite them to have a drink or eat some food on you. I'm going to tell you the story. The person I was at his client appreciation party last night, when he first did this last year, he comes in my office, he goes, I have one guy left to call. I'm like, did you call him? He's like, no. I was like, why? He's like, it was not the best deal. And I'm nervous to call him. I'm like, so what's the worst that's gonna happen? Hang up on you? Call him. Calls him. The guy comes to the party. 3 months later, he lists and sells his house. And this was a person he was afraid to call. So don't ever prejudge the situation. All right, so you schedule a party, 2 to 3 hours, do it on a weeknight, on a Thursday night. Invite everyone in your database, and I don't mean the 1,001 email addresses, right? We're talking about a smaller database now at this point. You could collect slips at the door, and you could have a drawing for prizes during the night. This agent did this last year. He had a grand prize.
Where you live?
Okay.
There you go.
No, thank you for coming.
No, thank you.
And it was an iPad. The guy won the iPad. Oh, this was great, blah, blah, blah. He ended up selling his house for $700,000 in the spring. People last night at the party were like, okay, when's the drawing? I want to win the drawing. I want to win. So here are some of the things you could do. You could do small little drawings, oil changes, car wash, restaurant, gift certificate, movie. You could do a flat screen TV. You could do an iPad. You're doing it at a real high level. You could do a grand prize. You could send them on a cruise for the top winner. You have 80 people there and you send the top 2 on a cruise. Say it costs you a couple $1,000 and you're getting a lot of referrals from it. You can spend $2,000 on Zillow in a minute in a zip code where you don't even know where the town is. Right? So you could look at some of the economics. Right? Say it costs you $750. Food and beverage costs you $3,000. You get a band or a DJ, $500. You spend $2,000 in prizes. You spend a total cost of $6,250. What does that break down to a month? $520.83. That $520.83 is going to be, you're going to get more bang for your buck if you do it right for that money than you're going to do anywhere else. Mailings, Zillow, zip codes, whatever it is. You do this right and you don't look at this huge number, you break it down to what it is a month on a budget, you can crush it and be on the kayak. Excuse me, be on the floating. Be consistent. Implement your system and stick to it. Again, attach to the process, not the results. Consistent mailouts, 12 touches. Your occasional cards, 3 to 7 touches. Thinking of you, calls, cards, it could be another 8 touches. It's 23 to 30 touches a year. Equals more advocates, equals more referrals, which is going to equal more income. Social proof. This is a little bit off the topic, but it ties into your referrals. Using testimonials from your buyers and sellers, and you could get some of the testimonials at this. Even at the client appreciation party, it's a good way that you can get people to go back home and write your reviews on Zillow. Now I know what you guys are all thinking, like, Carl has just been talking about how spend money on this and not Zillow. Zillow right now equals social proof in the real estate market. If someone doesn't know you and they Google you, they're probably gonna, and it's real estate, they're probably gonna look at your Zillow profile. And your Zillow profile, you wanna have a good picture, you wanna have all your recent sales updated, and you wanna have reviews. Don't go get reviews on all these other sites, get them on your Zillow. Right now, it's the way the business is. This is free. I am not saying you have to go out and buy Zillow zip codes, but I'm saying your Zillow profile better be on point. Because before people are gonna contact you, they're gonna look you up online. Olivier has a great example of a great Zillow profile. Reviews, his sales, picture. But he's not out there spending a fortune buying zip codes.
Don't spend anything.
Right. But people, sellers will look you up before you walk in their door if you don't know them. So you better have that profile and everything there. If you have no pictures, no sales, no this, and then the next person has the pictures, the sales, and this, it's like buying a coffee maker off of Amazon. And I know you got, like, what do you mean buying a coffee maker off of Amazon? People look at the reviews. People look at how many stars it has before they buy it. People are doing that with realtors, whether we like it or not. So it all ties in together. So this is another thing. It's like, all right, Carl, it's great. How am I supposed to get everybody's birthday and all that type of information? When you sign a contract and you're filling out paperwork, or you go and do a buyer consultation, I mean, how much paperwork is there now that's involved? It's a ton, right? You go do a mortgage application, right? It's a tree every application. I mean, the paperwork, this business is getting more paperwork, not less paperwork, right? Because of the way society is today. So what I do is, and we put this in our listing packets, our pre-listing packets for the office, our buyer consultation packet, we have a client survey. When they're filling out all this paperwork, what's one more page? Here we ask information, your name, your birth date, your anniversary date, your mailing address, because if it's an investment property, right? Your home phone numbers, your cell phones, your Facebook, your email address, your children living at home, their age, their birth date, your hobbies, right? If you know somebody's hobbies, then you know how to relate to them when you get in touch with them. You know somebody's a huge, say somebody's a huge outdoor person, and you send them a coupon to, what's that, Cabela's out on, I'm not a hunter, so this is probably the worst scenario, but right? Thank you. Right, you send them a coupon. That's how you hit home with people. Right, you take all this information, you put it in your CRM, or you have everybody survey in alphabetical order, so you know how to follow up with people. Right? You're going to be able, in the beginning, the problem is when you try to get this filled out afterwards that it's hard. Unless you do it at a client appreciation party, and the only way you get into the grand drawings by filling this out, and we pick out which one, and that's the winner. Big companies are spending a fortune on information right now. They're saying that Berkshire bought out Prudential so they could get all the information in the real estate deals so Warren Buffett's companies could go sell other products to them. When is the time that most people spend the most amount of money? Is when they buy a house. I always say buying the house and the down payment, everything's the cheap part. Furnishing it, fixing it, all that stuff is the expensive part. There's so many companies trying to get the information of home buyers so you can sell them other stuff. So, if you're like, oh, I don't have this information for a lot of people, you want to be entered into our grand prize drawing of an iPad, just fill out this information and we pick out the winner. All right? $500, you get a lot of information that you can reuse to create more income. Hey, we're filling out your first time. I don't know how many of you guys do buyer consultations, or in your listing appointment, you have them sign the listing agreement and say, listen, here's some information we need to know during the process. You give them the sheet. They fill it out. They're filling out all this paperwork. What's one more page? This gives you all your follow-up information right there. That's all I got. Thank you. But again, I just want to stress how important the referrals is. If you really want to grow your business, and even if you're just starting out, this is still really crucial. Even if you're just starting out, this is probably even more important, because a lot of your business in the beginning is going to be referrals. No questions? All right, I appreciate everyone attending today. Thank you.
Good luck.